Greetings and salutations, my operators, and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time, the witnesses, or rather, I guess the jury, poked holes in the witnesses' testimony. We are learning a lot of conflicting information that went against the evidence. And now, after avoiding one guilty verdict, we are trying to figure out what's actually going on. We learned that the coachman has been overcharging people in the night coach by 1 pence, a whole penny's worth. We learned that the banker is not as objective? No, that's not the right word. He's not as unrelated to the case as we expected. Because he owes 20 guineas worth of whatever the hell the currency is to the defendant, which is oddly the same amount as the victim. So that's kind of sus. It's very coincidentally 20 guineas. And we haven't learned anything about the hat maker yet, but I'm sure he's involved in it somehow. Something to show this man has a compelling reason to lie in his testimony. I have evidence. I believe it's the book. My lord. Yes, counsel. The defense is ready to present evidence. By Jove! Are you sure? Yes. Evidence that will clearly demonstrate why Mr. Fairplay had reason to lie in his testimony. Very well. I hereby call on the defense to present its evidence. The evidence that demonstrates a motive for the witness's alleged deception of the court. The debtor's ledger. Among the defendant's list of debtors is Bruce Fairplay, who would have been due to repay his loan imminently.
Take that!
This is a list of the debtors who owe money to Mr. McGilden. Yes, a list of innocent victims crippled by the accused extortion. The point is, among the names of these debtors is your name, Mr. Bruce Fairplay. What? Mr. Fairplay, are you currently indebted financially to the accused? No, well, it's barely worthy of being called a debt. According to this ledger, you owe 20 guineas. Not an inconsiderable sum of money, would you say? Well, what of it? Let's suppose Mr. McGilden were to be found guilty of murder. What would become of your debt in that case? These documents state that the loan agreement is forged between two individual parties. Therefore, were the creditor, the defendant here, to be sentenced to a capital punishment, all outstanding debts which were owed to him would be annulled. They would cease to exist. Cease to exist? Mr. Fairplay, is it not the case that you claim in your testimony to have seen something you never in fact saw? In a devious attempt to annul your debt of 20 guineas to the defendant? Order! 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 Mr. Bruce Fairplay! Yes, my lord! Let me ask you again, and be aware that your answer may have most serious implications upon your future, sir. Did you or did you not see the precise moment in time at which the defendant is alleged to have thrust a knife into the victim? Your silence speaks volumes. You did not tell the truth in your testimony. Alright, now let's not make a melodrama out of this. Perhaps I did overstate the truth in a pinch. A pinch? But it makes no difference. I definitely remember seeing blood on McGilda's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And yet, only one of the defendant's gloves, which we have here as evidence, is stained. Grr. So you keep saying.
I wonder if I might be allowed to speak, sir?
Go ahead, Mr. Faust, first.
Well, the thing is, I think I remember seeing it myself, as it happens.
Seeing what?
The blood, sir, on the assailant hands. I think, yes. I'm almost sure that it was on both of his hands, not just one.
What? What? It would appear that we're going to need further testimony from all you witnesses. This time, I would like to know precisely what you did and what you did not see. Do I make myself perfectly clear? Yeah, this is
Mr. Naruhodo, this is good news. The course of the trial seems to have shifted slightly at last.
Yes. I might finally have a chance to turn things around here. Witness testimony. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
I remember seeing the knife.
Okay, going southern now.
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard that scream. Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen. Well, lo and behold, in truth of fact, not one of you was witness to the crucial moment the crime was perpetrated. I apologize, my lord, but honestly, there was no one else inside that carriage, and the man's hands were covered in blood. Grr. That much incriminating evidence is tantamount to saying we saw the man do it. That's really not what testimony is about. Let us examine the interior of the omnibus once more. The victim's fresh blood is clearly visible on the seat, corroborating the witness's accounts. In other words, there is no substantial nor significant change in the facts of the case. Very well. Your cross-examination, please, counsel. Yes, my lord. What the witnesses really saw. There was blood on both of the assailant's hand. There was blood on both hands of the assailant. I sincerely and distinctly remember that.
Hold it!
No, the evidence tells us otherwise. We have the gloves the defendant was wearing on the night in question in the court record. I'm well aware of that, sir, but nevertheless, I know what I saw and I stand by it. The man had blood on both his hands. He's defiant, even in the face of hard evidence. He's steadfastly refusing to admit that he might be mistaken about what he saw. But why? Your reasoning is
dire. One hand or two, the salient point remains unchanged. Minutes after the grim climb, the victim's blood dripped guiltily from the accused's fingers. However, I suppose you might say that I didn't see the exact moment the stabbing transpired, if that matters.
Hold it!
Don't try to downplay this. Whether or not you saw the exact moment of the crime is a matter of fundamental importance, as well you know. But for crying out loud, we all know that no one else could possibly have done it. I was just trying to save us all some time. You have a loan of 20 guineas outstanding with the defendant, do you not? Had you hoped to release yourself from that financial burden by ensuring the defendant was found guilty? That's not entirely not what I was hoping for. I just lost a little guinea or 10 when I backed the wrong horse in the derby. That's all. I was going to win it all back. There's a fixture this weekend that's a sure thing. A little guinea or 10? I'm a banker. No one bats an eye if I borrow a little spending money for the weekend. I think you may have revealed rather more about your character than you bargained for, sir. This witness's scruples are not on trial here. Proceed to the next witness. Is that really how it's supposed to work?
I remember seeing the knife, and I remember seeing both of the attacker's hands with blood on them.
Hold it!
You definitely saw that too? Blood on both hands?
Yes, sir. I mean, I know what you're going to say. Only one of Mr. McGilda's gloves has any signs of blood on it.
That's right.
The thing is, as far as I remember, sir, when I looked down and saw Mr. McGilda sitting beside the other fellow, I don't believe he was wearing any gloves, sir.
He wasn't wearing these gloves?
That's correct, sir. And I saw the blood on both his bare hands quite clearly.
It's true that the dark color stain on the dark leather gloves wouldn't have been easy to see. I should point out that the police officer who apprehended the accused on the night in question reported that there was no trace of blood on Mr. McGilda's gloved hands. There wasn't blood on his hands? Why is the prosecution helping us? I'm shocked. This is puzzling indeed. This must be significant somehow. I'm sure of it. I didn't actually see anything myself. No, not until I heard that scream. Oops.
Hold it!
You didn't see anything? Oh, yes, sir. That is to say, no, sir, I didn't. Very sorry about what I said before, sir. Very sorry, yes. It was wrong of me to make up stories and say I saw him stab the man. Wouldn't you agree, sir? I know what you're insinuating, but I certainly wasn't making up stories. Still, to say you saw nothing isn't right either, is it? No, sir. I saw nothing at all. Mr. Beppo, you were driving your horses. At the very least, you must have enjoyed a good view of London streets, no? Oh, please. You didn't even see that? It was so cold that night, you see. It was all I could do to keep from passing out, sir. Yes, my head was fairly frozen solid. Sorry to say, sir. It would seem prudent to avoid travel on the last omnibus service of London's cold winter nights. Nebo! Arg! Anyway, the fact remains, there can't have been anyone else inside that carriage, or we all would have seen.
Hold it!
And everything you saw of the incident was through the skylight on the roof of the omnibus? That's right. It was fiercely cold that night, but the glass wasn't frosted over.
Oh yes, I remember I was shivering. It was so bitter.
Which rather begs the question of why the pair of you were sitting on the roof deck in the first place. Well, I don't know about this young fellow, but I couldn't enter the cabin. Oh? Why not? It was locked from the inside. I tried knocking, but no one opened the door. It was locked? That's right. And it's a public bus service, for Bay's sake. That's not what I call fair play.
Yes, I had exactly the same experience. I tried knocking, but the gent inside just gestured at me to clear off. So I had no choice but to climb up on the roof deck and look down longingly into the warm cabin below.
Well, I can assure you I wasn't just looking down. I was glaring long and hard. And that's precisely why I can tell you with absolute confidence that if there was anyone else at that cabin, that if there was anyone else at all in that cabin, I would have noticed. Unequivocally, I would say. I'm not sure about these two witnesses. Could they really have seen everything inside the cabin through the skylight? I don't think they could, because they couldn't be able to see underneath them. They might not have been able to. Allow me to confirm one thing, Mr. Fairplay. You were riding this omnibus and witnessed the events in the cabin through the skylight in the floor of the upper deck. Is that right? That's right. Yes. In that case, there is a portion of the cabin interior that would have been out of sight from you. What?
By golly, really?
Obviously, at this stage, we can't say for sure. But the possibility cannot be denied. At that time, at the time of the incident, there could have been another passenger in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus.
Objection!
Enough hypothetical meandering, my Nipponese friend. The prosecution demands that you substantiate your claims. After all, the scene of the crime is here, in the flesh. Very well, I will uphold the prosecution's demands. You identified the area on this cross-sectional plan of the omnibus. Where exactly in the omnibus are you suggesting that this potential extra passenger could have been situated? Right here.
Take that!
Both rows of seats on the roof face in the direction of travel, whereas the seats in the enclosed cabin face each other, which means the visible part of the cabin, which passengers on the roof deck can see through the skylight, is as I've drawn here. Oh! That's right, my lord. As you can see, the seat opposite of the The seat opposite the one on which the victim and his attacker were sitting is obscured from view. In other words, if someone had been sitting on that seat, it's quite possible that these witnesses would have been completely unaware of it. Grrrr!
Objection!
It's quite possible that some phantom was sitting there. You Nipponese have a forbidding habit of obscuring the truth with ambiguity. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. I guess that's supposed to be like a rebuttal. I concur with the prosecution's rejoinder. In a British court of law, evidence is paramount. I cannot entertain this conjecture, counsel. That is, unless you're able to put a name to this mysterious passenger to whom you allude.
Can you, Mr. Naruhodo?
I honestly don't know. Who could it have been? Who could have been in the other seat, which was out of sight from the witnesses on the roof deck? I am a firm believer it was McGilded. I have an inkling. I understand, my lord. The defense would like to put forward a name. You are a fool. That response was a desperate attempt by a man who has no notion of his own limitations. A toast to hard lessons not yet learnt.
Let us not delay, counsel. The defense is still to name the passenger in the other seat.
This could be it. This could be the chance I've been waiting for to turn the trial in my favor. On that night, on the night of the murder, the person occupying the seat in the omnibus cabin that was obscured from view was Magnus McGilded.
Take that!
The passenger in the enclosed cabin that the witnesses on the roof deck failed to see has to have been Mr. Magnus McGilded.
Mr. McGilded?
What are you talking about, counsel? That's the name of the defendant.
Objection!
Wow. If I desecrated this chamber by smashing my hollow chalice, do forgive the discourtesy.
Lord Van Zix!
People talk of those tiny island nations in the Far East as having a learning and culture of their own, but I see they use the terms ill-advisedly. Getting a little racist, okay? What are you trying to say? Let me explain in terms that even a student from an artless backwater such as yourself might understand. When the bloody scene unfolded, the victim and his assailant were sitting side by side. Multiple witnesses have attested to the fact. It's the very premise on which this case is built.
Objection!
But that premise may be wrong. What? If the victim really was sitting beside Mr. McGilded, it creates an inconsistency that can't be reconciled in any way.
What inconsistency, counsel?
The defendant's gloves, my lord. Both witnesses made the same testimony. They claim that there was blood on both hands of the person sitting next to the victim.
Objection!
Yet we know the truth to be otherwise. Only one glove bears the gory remains.
Objection!
The point is, even in the face of this irrefutable evidence, both witnesses have maintained their stance.
Yes, their testimony remains unchanged.
Exactly. They both adamantly swear that they clearly remember seeing blood on both hands of the assailant. In short, their memory of events is correct, and their testimony reveals the truth. It was somebody else sitting beside the victim that night. A third party we have yet to identify. And the victim's blood was on that passenger's hands. Both of them.
Objection!
And who was this third party? Obviously, the true culprit. Extraordinary! Order! 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 What exactly are you postulating?
Objection!
The defense postulation is just that. Nothing more than conjecture. The witnesses have clearly stated that they saw the accused.
Objection!
But when elaborating on his testimony, Mr. Fairplay said the two of them were wearing hats, and I couldn't exactly make out their faces.
Yes. The tops of their heads were obscured by the roof. I could see the rest of them, though.
Yes, that's right. Both gents were most certainly hatted. Hatters do tend to notice such things, sir.
And what particular styles of hat did the two gentlemen sport, Mr. Faust? First,
I'm afraid I don't remember.
And you call yourself a hatter? The style of hat makes no difference. There was no third passenger in that cabin. How can you be sure? Because if there had been, the accused, Mr. McGilded, would undoubtedly have offered to dispose the fact. Depose. Unless, that is, you're proposing an even more preposterous explanation. That the accused failed to even notice the presence of the true culprit in the very cabin in which he traveled. Ah! He's right. If there was another person traveling in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus, it is inconceivable that Mr. McGilded would have been unaware of it.
order! There's clearly a simple solution to this problem.
Bring the accused, Mr. McGilded, to the stand.
Well, what say you, counsel?
The prosecution objects, my lord.
On what grounds?
As a suspect, he will have already made a full statement to the police. But what if there's some reason why he's unable to speak freely? Magnus McGilded is no uneducated ruffian. If it indeed turns out that the man had been withholding information, you can be sure it will have been a most deliberate act.
Counsel for the defense, what is your opinion?
My lord, should we ask Mr. McGilded to testify or not? We gotta ask him why. We gotta see what he says. Yes, we need to hear what he has to say in order to find out the truth. The defense would like to call Mr. McGilded to the stand.
In that case, I would like to hear the opinion of the jury. Ah, yes, I need a little time to consider this.
If you ask me, I think we should hear what Mr. McGilded has to say.
Get the man out here, I say! It would be utterly illogical not to hear his testimony. When something needs doing, get it done. That's how I run things at the guild. Hearing what the patron of my favorite little park has to say? Oh yes, that would be lovely.
Yes, the jury says the man must be heard. Very well, the court will hear the defendant's testimony. Bailiff, show the defendant to the stand at once.
Now, maybe what actually happened that night will finally become clear.
Let proceedings be resumed. Mr. McGilded, have you been listening to the discourse of the day?
To be sure I have, my lord.
There are now two matters on which the court desires to hear from you. The first is whether or not there was a third party with you in the omnibus cabin, as proposed by the defense. The second is that if such a person was indeed present, why did you conceal the fact from the police?
Me god, no. 'Tis not in my nature to hide anything at all. Just answer the question, please. The truth of the matter is, I've been desperate about this all along. Do I tell yous all, or keep me mouth shut?
Tell us what, Mr. McGilded?
The fine fellow representing me is absolutely right. In the carriage on the night of myself and the other man, there was another passenger.
It's true.
Aye, and 'twas me who helped the little urchin get away after it all happened. You... What?! No, Mr. Magnus. No, Magnus McGilded. That convenient excuse can't save you now. I'm truly sorry. So I am, Lord Van Deeks. I'm sure you'd be wanting to know why I said nothing when I was taken in by the police. I do be having a very good reason, I assure you.
Which was?
Well, the little child was just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and not in any way involved, you see. What? What? If the police had known the wee one was there, they'd have assumed she'd done it. They'd have hauled her into this here courtroom, just like myself. I was only trying to spare her that. Young hearts and young minds are easily damaged, my lord.
And who was this young child of whom you speak?
That's... I don't know.
You don't know?
Aye, well, the wee thing just happened to be in the carriage that night. I never saw her before, or since.
Objection!
We have absolutely no reason to believe this man. The prosecution calls for the witness's statement to be discarded by the court. Disregarded by the court. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if the urchin isn't here in this courtroom as we speak, listening to the proceedings. What? Ah! Smoke! Ah! Fire! There's a fire! Look! Someone's trying to get away! After him! It's no use! I can't see anything through all the smoke! What's going on?
Be careful, Mr. Naruhodo. Cover your face.
Bailiff, don't let the accused escape. Secure the omnibus.
I hereby call an emergency recess. Bailiff, ensure the defendant is in custody and clear the courtroom.
What the hell's going on? We were hurriedly removed from the smoke-filled courtroom by the bailiff. Amid scenes of chaos as people stumbled over one another in their desperation to flee the chamber. We had no idea what was happening. All we knew was that, for the time being at least, the trial was suspended. To be continued. Yeah, I'm still half an hour away. Part 3! The final part? Is it a 3-act structure? 18th February, 12:52 p.m. The Old Bailey, defendant's antechamber. What on earth just happened in there?
Mr. Naruhodo, I've managed to find out what happened.
Mr. Sato,
I was told it was an advanced form of smoke grenade, a type of exploding device that releases smoke.
A smoke grenade? It sounds like the sort of thing ninjas use.
They're just making sure everyone's safe now. I think the trial will start again before long.
But who would have done something like that?
The police managed to catch someone who was trying to flee the courtroom, apparently.
Flee the courtroom? Why?
Well, it's a young girl around 15, I hear.
A young girl? Then, could it be? The other passenger that Mr. McGilded was just talking about?
My thoughts exactly.
So he wasn't lying. Oh! What's become of Mr. McGilded, actually? There are so many things I need to ask him about, but he's not here!
I think he was summoned to the prosecutor's antechamber to answer questions, along with the young girl.
Who is she, I wonder? And what was she even doing here at the trial? She was taking a huge risk, and for what possible benefit to herself?
There's another matter that's troubling me.
What's that?
The 20 pence.
Hmm? Oh,
According to the coachman, Mr. Beppo, he took 4 passengers that night at a fare of 5 pence each. That comes to a total of 20 pence exactly. But now it seems there were in fact 5 passengers, which means the figures don't seem to add up again.
she's right. That is strange.
Counsel for the defense, kindly proceed into the courtroom. The trial will recommence in 5 minutes.
Oh, thank you, officer. We'll go in straight away.
Well, whoever she is, I imagine this young girl will be asked to take the stand and testify now. I really can't imagine what she's going to say, but it could alter the whole direction of the trial.
We'll know soon enough, Miss Susato.
Yes.
February, 1 p.m. The Old Bailey courtroom. Man, we've been needing a lot of young blondes in our attorney adventure. There's the young girl next to Mr. McGilded. Look. She must have been the one who caused the disturbance before.
Well, after the rather eventful recess, the court will now resume the trial of Mr. Magnus McGilded. Now then, Lord Van Zeeks. My lord, I believe you have established the cause of the smoke which veiled proceedings earlier?
It seems to have been an advanced form of smoke grenade, of the sort typically employed by the army.
Good gracious! The army? What in the devil's name?
It was an elaborate attempt by a young girl to cloak her escape from the public gallery, but she was caught, and now occupies the stand.
Your name, girl? Are you responsible for the smoke grenade which induced such pandemonium here in my courtroom? What is the meaning of this deplorable behavior?
If I may, my lord.
Yes, Mr. McGilded.
I think perhaps I ought to explain here. Why is it that this wee lass was here in the first place, and why she tried to boast like that? This all tied up with the events of that night, so it is.
Very well, Mr. McGilded. Give your testimony. You will explain to the court exactly how this young woman is involved in the case.
Just what did happen that night? It's not like the defense lawyers need that information or anything. The young girl. On the night in question, I took the back seat in the omnibus and promptly nodded off. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from, and bless my soul, what did I find? There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away.
I remain somewhat baffled, I confess. But from what I gather, on the night in question, this young girl was indeed riding in the omnibus. Is that correct?
Just exactly as the defense counsel said. This last was the 5th passenger, my lord.
Very well. The defense may now cross-examine the witnesses. Are you ready, counsel?
Yes, my lord. Or rather, no. I have no idea where to start.
The young girl.
On the night in question, I took the back seat of the omnibus and promptly nodded off.
Hold it!
And when you first got onto the omnibus, were there any other passengers already on board? There were not. The cabin was empty, and there was no one on the roof deck either.
You were the first passenger, as it were. I see.
Aye, and that's why I took the backside that I did. It's the most comfortable, so it is. Could you explain exactly what you mean by the back seat? By all means, just how you already described it earlier. I'm talking about the seat opposite of the one in which the poor gentleman who was stabbed was sitting. Like I said, just the most comfortable and where I feel most at ease. And of course, I enjoy gazing through the skylight from time to time as well. Then, begorra, a loud thud and a wee scream woke me up with a fair start.
Hold it!
A loud thud, you say? And a scream? Aye, that's right. How can I explain it? This was like the sound of someone falling to the ground. That sort of noise. So you think it was the sound of Mr. Mason falling to the floor, having been stabbed? Well now, you'll remember I was asleep at the time, so I wouldn't like to say. And when the sound woke me up, and I opened my eyes, there wasn't a soul to be seen in the carriage, but the feather on the floor. You didn't see anyone? But at the same moment, you did hear a scream?
Ah, from the seats above you on the roof deck, I presume?
Not above me, no, my lord. 'Twas from inside the cabin. But I wasn't altogether thinking about the scream. No, I was too stunned by the desperate sight before my eyes. There was a fella collapsed on the floor at me feet, so I sat him up on the seat across from me.
Hold it!
You sat him up? The victim, you mean? That I did. On the seat from me, as I said. I could plainly see the poor devil was already gone. And you wouldn't leave a dead man just lie on the floor now, would you? This common courtesy, so it is. I find that a little hard to believe. Allah, Lord Van Deeks? Now why would that be? You wake to find a man lying dead at your feet in a carriage. Any normal person would hail the cabman. Any upstanding member of London society, that is. Well now, as you know, I'm in something of a special line of business.
The business of lending money at exorbitant rates of interest?
Unfortunately, my lord, not everyone is thankful for the help I offer them, and some would even see me dead. So I do try, where at all possible, to avoid getting myself in a tangle with trouble. Are you suggesting you were just going to leave the man there? Heavens no! I was always intending to report it, so I was. Only, I had a mind to find out the whys and wheres fors first. The whys and wheres fors? Right you are. There were some details I wanted to understand before anyone else got to meddling. That wee scream I heard, for example. Wouldn't your good self do just the same? Yes. The scream he says he heard at the same time as the thud of the victim collapsing. Then I turned to find out where that scream had come from. And, bless my soul, what did I find?
Hold it!
I'm afraid I don't understand. I'm sure you told the court that there was no one else in the carriage except yourself and the victim. So I did, sir. So I did. As far as I could see, that is. What do you mean by that? Well now, 'tis a queer thing. The wee scream I heard as I woke up. It came from, if you'll excuse the vulgar expression, under me backside.
Good gracious!
Under your backside? And when I lifted the seat on which I'd been sitting, I found there was a wee cubbyhole there for storage.
Mr. Naruhodo, we examined the omnibus ourselves, remember?
Yes, of course. The whole bus was submitted as evidence.
This would be a very good time to have a thorough look around inside.
And that's when I found her. There was a child in there, all curled up in a ball, hiding her wee self away. Will update the... Oh, there was blood on the floor. Didn't even notice that. That's blood, isn't it?
Is something wrong?
Oh, it's just, well, this blood stain is so obvious. That's all. And yet, Van Zieks has made no mention of it.
I suppose that does seem a little strange.
Why do I have such a bad feeling about this? Is that not blood? This seat looks relatively soft, but rather hard when you sit on it. And only just wide enough for two gentlemen to sit side by side, really.
Of course, an English gentlewoman would be dressed in such finery. It would be quite impossible for her to climb up to the roof deck, so she would have to be seated here.
A woman in kimono would have the same problem. Women's clothes are very impractical, aren't they? The seat has a handle, it seems. Wait, where's the stuff? This is a storage compartment, but there's nothing in here. It's totally empty. Something doesn't seem right here. I can't put my finger on what it is. Why is it missing? Who stole it in the smokescreen? Oh, good thing. Good thing, double check. I guess that bloodstain wasn't there before then. That happened after smokescreen.
Hold it!
You say she was hiding herself? That's right. It was hard to see in the dim lamplight that she was all curled up in a wee ball. When our eyes met, well, my heart nearly stopped beating in me chest. You're really overreacting this. Still in all, I pulled her out from under there and sat her on the seat opposite so I could have a wee chin wag with her. The seat opposite? That's right, just next to the dead gentleman there.
You sat this young girl next to a corpse, sir?
Well, as I'm sure I mentioned, a gentleman in my position can all too often find himself in mortal danger. So I needed to find out just who this urchin was, you see. And when I was in the middle of talking with her, I heard another scream. A fellow's voice this time. Presumably, that scream was Mr. First, who was sitting on the roof deck on the roof deck seats.
Right you are again, I would say, sir. Looking down through the skylight, he must have seen this young girl and the gentleman with the knife in his belly.
In other words, the previous witnesses did not, in fact, see you at all, Mr. McGilden. What they believed to be yourself and the victim was, in fact, this girl and the late Mr. Mason?
Aye, my lord. I was, as I think everyone understands now, sat at the back of the carriage, out of sight. Wow, they're even the same height.
It is certainly plausible. The defendant is somewhat diminutive in stature, and rarely confused, perhaps, with this young girl.
After that, of course. With the screams from the gentleman over us, the driver realized something was wrong and pulled up the horses.
Thank you. I've heard enough. The events as explained are clear in my mind. However, at least one conundrum remains. Who is the girl?
Her name is Gina Lestrade, my lord. She is a chancer, earns her crust among large crowds, relieving peoples of their purses. What's commonly called a pickpocket.
What? This girl here? A petty thief? Order! Order! Is this true, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade! You will answer the question. Ah! How dare you! What is the meaning of this? Ah! The girl! She's gone!
Open your eyes. Over here.
Good gracious! How?
What was the point in that little sidestep? I know what you lot were thinking. Grown-ups are all the same. This dirty little dipper, you'll say, slipped up and got caught on the job. She got herself back into a corner, so she knifed the gent. Go on. That's what your ads. That's what's in your ads, ain't it? No, not at all. This is a court of law. We're here to determine the truth, not Look, knives are for cowards. Only thugs use weapons like that. All I need is what I do with these fingers. I'm a professional, alright? Maybe not in your eyes, but I got pride in what I do. Let me guess, you don't count smoke guns among weapons for thugs. Oh, this? Oh, yeah. This was in a bag I lifted the other day. Down where they keep the four-wheel drags. It's nice, isn't it? I like the pink the best.
Do not wave that thing in my direction again!
So, I shall drink to forget this moment. You admit that you are riding the omnibus on the night in question.
Tis alright, lass. You can tell them the truth now. Alright, yeah. Just like the Irishman said.
The court accepts this girl, Miss Gina Lestrade, as a valid and significant witness in this case. Accordingly, young lady, we will now hear your testimony, if you please. You will tell the court exactly what happened in the omnibus on the night in question.
Alright, if I have to.
Witness testimony. What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses, just like always. But but it was a right old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles that night. I tell ya, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there. Then, after a while, I heard this loud bang. I nearly jumped out of my skin. I did. And the screen just came out. It's because of that the swindle found me. It didn't help me get away, mind.
Yes, he let you go. I fail to understand why you would let the street urchin go, Mr. McGilded.
Oh, just simplicity yourself, my lord. You see, she couldn't possibly have killed the other passenger. I knew that for a fact. How? As I'm sure I said before, sir. I was sitting right on top of the place she was hiding herself in.
I think a demonstration is called for.
This is where I was sat that night.
And the cubbyhole of which you've spoken is underneath the seat, I presume. Yes, it does appear just large enough to accommodate someone of this girl's stature.
Aye, but of course, this wee lass was stuck in there. Because I parked myself on the seat for the duration.
Ah!
So, you see, that's why I let the lass bolt. I knew that if the police found her there, they'd automatically assume she'd done it. But I couldn't live with myself if a young life was ruined, when all the time I knew she was innocent.
Even though you must have realized your action would result in your own innocence being called into question?
Not at all, my lord. Not at all. I knew in my own heart that I was innocent. So I thought it was worth taking a punt on my own good name for the sake of this less fortunate lass. My goodness. What a perfect gentleman.
My lord! This fine example of a man cannot possibly be guilty of a heinous crime like this. I'm ashamed of myself for ever telling you, sir.
With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. I mean, we still have the actual culprit to...
Saints alive! All 6 members of the jury, consensual in their leaning to a verdict of not guilty?
Mr. Naruhodo, well, it must mean... It must mean what? That we're victorious! I don't like this. We've won? Are you sure?
Objection!
Whoa!
If the sight of my iron-heeled Wellington offends, pray, I do forgive the discourtesy. Man, I can't believe Brian's feet picks. This is a consummate example of the one monumental flaw in British judicial practices, where evidence and reasoning should be paramount. Emotion rules the day. Emotion? The witness's latest statement gives a clear insight into his true nature. What do you mean, his true nature? Do you really think Scotland Yard would have made such a glaring omission? After the incident, the omnibus was comprehensively searched by officers of the police. Obviously, the interior of this cubbyhole, as the witness put it, was included in their investigation. The compartment under the posterior seat was full of the coachman's belongings. It's noted in black and white here in the police report.
Good lord! The evidence has been tampered with. In order to corroborate Mr. McGilda's story, someone has unlawfully removed everything from under the seat. What? Order! Order! How could such a devious contrivance possibly have been affected, Council? Naturally, we must acknowledge the deficiencies of the constabulary in allowing this to have happened. However, I assure you, when the omnibus was wheeled into the courtroom this morning, the compartment under the seat was not empty. Well, my Nipponese friend? Me? When the carriage was submitted as evidence, doubtless you examined it in fine detail, as would any self-respecting practitioner of the law. Pray, what did you find the condition of the underseat compartment to be? Oh, to be sure, the young gentleman will be able to clear this up in a jiffy. Sorry? Go ahead, you tell the court now, fella. How this is all an elaborate excuse by the desperate Lord Van Deeks?
Well, Counsel, do you have something to say on this matter?
How am I supposed to answer? What can I say about the state of that low compartment under the seat in the omnibus? It wasn't empty. I really don't know if giving this answer is helping my cause as counsel for the defense. But as far as I remember, at least. When I first examined the compartment, I'm fairly certain there were a number of articles inside it, yes.
Are you sure, Counsel?
Huh. Be whist! What are you saying now, you daft dog? I thought you were on my side here. What game are you playing? You're tasked to defend the man in the stand. Why would you say something to compromise his position? Before I'm a defense attorney, I'm a seeker of truth. I seek the truth. And that's all I'm gonna seek. As the advocate for the defense in this trial, I confess, I'm still not entirely sure where I stand. But it seems to me that I should state what facts I do know as clearly and honestly as possible. Interesting. This not altogether pleasing, fella. I'm simply telling the truth, Mr. McGilded. Well, don't forget that you're supposed to be representing my best interest here, lad. Now then. A fellow's memory is a curious thing, and not altogether reliable. No, the court must consider the facts. That there cubbyhole under the seat is as empty as the devil's heart, so it is. Do you think perhaps it would be in your best interest now to admit that you might have been mistaken? Yeah. Got a sneeze coming up. Why? Why do I feel like something's not right here?
I should like the jury to weigh in on this matter, I think. That compartment is designed to house equipment used to maintain the smooth running of the carriage. The guild's rules state that omnibuses should be properly and fully equipped at all times. So it certainly wouldn't have been empty on the night in question. But isn't that irresponsible? That money-lending fleecer and the big purse are lying. I can't believe I was nearly taken in. The stinking rich are always stinkers. Nothing but cowards love them. What? Oh no. It's a trick. Of course it's a trick.
Quite so. I must concur here. With calm, calculated reasoning, one arrives clearly at the truth every time. Yes, but every time a different truth, it seems. My lord, I humbly exhibit the scales of justice. Clearly, a verdict of not guilty at this time would be wholly inappropriate.
Thank you, counsel. But before we proceed any further, there is a matter of the outstanding cross-examination. Counsel for the defense, begin your questioning of the witness, please.
Yes, my lord. What just happened? The whole balance of the trial just shifted almost beyond recognition. The Reaper of the Bailey is at work, it would seem. What the girl saw.
So I snuck inside the carriage before they hooked up the horses. Just like always.
Hold it!
So you were already in the omnibus before it even set off on its run?
Well, yeah, I mean, what's the point of spending a Joey to make a few bob, eh? That's a rum idea, innit?
I suppose it means there's no point spending money to make money. It actually makes sense.
Counsel, may I remind you that this girl is a petty thief? Kindly refrain from entertaining her tenants.
Well, that does clear up the little mystery of the fares and all. 4 paying passengers at 5 pence apiece, making the 20 to which the cabmen testified. And 1 little scapegrace gliding for free. The lead conk of a driver always goes for some grub before his last run, see. So that's when I slip into the carriage and get myself hidden under the seat. Nice and easy, right?
But your hiding place is a storage compartment for the equipment for the coach, no?
Yeah, there were brushes and buckets and whatnot in there, sure. I always chuck it all out and cram it into a corner somewhere. No one ever seems to bother much.
And yet, according to the report filed by the police officer who first arrived at the scene, the compartment was full of such paraphernalia.
Well, I don't know nothing about that. Like I said, I moved all that stuff out so I could hide under the seat. So I could hide under the seat. That's all I can tell you.
It seems we've reached the end of that line of inquiry. Continue.
But those are like so old waste of time. I got nothing to show for me troubles at night.
It doesn't even make sense from like a pickpocker's perspective. If anyone sat on you, you wouldn't be able to get out. And if you did get out, the other passengers are facing right at you. This whole plan is full of holes.
Hold it!
A waste of time? Why is that?
Well, most nights I'm on my own in the guard permit that least, wait, what? Well, most nights I'm on my own in the guard permit at least some of the time.
I beg your pardon? Did you say God permit?
Oh yeah, well, that's what my kind call it. You'd say the omnibus, I suppose. The point is, ain't no run. The carriage ain't got no one in it for a while.
And that's when you come out of your hiding place and get away?
That's it. Only that night. This cove was sat on me seats from the start. And he didn't budge the whole way, did he? Not 1 inch. I was totally stuck.
Do you mean to tell us that you were present in the carriage for the duration? You were under the seat the entire time while events unfolded in the enclosed cabin?
Yeah. Right. Right, mister. To be sure. I was as shocked as anyone. You don't expect to lift the cushion you've been sat on and find a child now, do you?
So Miss Lestrade couldn't possibly be the culprit then.
I'll tell you, you can't see a blind thing in that hiding place. It's pitch in there.
Hold it!
So you couldn't see out into the cabin at all?
Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion and with me head. Well. Not a jot. Most days I push the god damn it. Gotta relax the jaw. Gotta relax the jaw. Ah. Not a jot. Most days I push the cushion up with me head and look out the crack. Then I have a butcher's at which whose I'm gonna fiddle.
I thought you were a pickpocket, not a butcher.
I mean, I can have a look. The seat I get under ain't as plush as the other ones you see. So most of the time, the pastures plant themselves opposite. But for some reason that night, this here Irishman spent the whole journey right over me head.
And for that reason, you weren't able to push the cushion up to peek out. I see.
Truth is, I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like I've been thrown in the clink. But it's the only way to hide in them carriages, so it's Upson's choice.
Why doesn't she just stick to picking people's pockets in the open then? I say there's some reason she's not laying on, judging from her demeanor.
So anyway, I was a bit scared, but I had to just stick it out under there. Nothing else for it. Then after a while, I hear this loud bang. Nearly jumped out of me skin, I did. And the scream just came out.
Hold it!
When you say a loud bang, do you mean the noise of someone falling to the floor?
Could have been, I suppose. I don't remember so well. Point is, it made me jump.
And you let out a scream involuntarily?
That's right. And then I felt the cushion over me head get lighter all of a sudden.
Presumably when the defendant got up in order to help the victim, yes. Or not. It could equally have been the moment the accused stood in order to stab his victim, could it not?
Well, girl, did you see what happened at that crucial moment?
Yeah, I saw it. I pushed up the cushion and had a quick butcher's while I had the chance, didn't I? The Irishman was sitting up below what had fallen on the floor on the seat opposite. That matches Mr. McGilda's account, of course. But then, the fellow suddenly turns around and looks right at me. I sunk back down again, but it was too late by then. I should never have risked looking. It's because of all that. The swell found me. He did help me get away with mind.
Hold it!
And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out And when Mr. McGilda discovered you, he pulled you out from your hiding place?
I was scared stiff. How scared stiff I was. He dragged me out and sat me down on the seat and all.
Next to the victim, Mr. Mason?
Yeah, the bloke had a knife in his guts. He was still bleeding. Then the carriage lurched a bit, and he ended up falling onto me. Ugh, how awful. Both me hands got covered in blood. It made me feel sick as a dog.
Both her hands covered in blood. That must be what the rooftop passenger saw. After that, I believe you talked with Mr. McGilda for a while. Is that correct?
He asked me some stuff. He wanted to know me name and what I was up to and that. Then I heard something from up above. Someone screamed.
Yes, Mr. First on the roof deck, one would presume.
Well, I didn't want no one seeing me face, so I didn't look up. So the horses were drawn up smartest,
And this Irishman says to me, "Get back under the seat. I'll see that you can get away later."
All 6 members of the jury had decided the defendant was innocent.
For one brief, shining moment, yes.
It's clear that they are all still very unsure. If we could just find some conclusive piece of evidence among the new testimony, I'm sure we would clinch the verdict we want.
Yes, I think you're right. I have this niggling feeling. Something's bothering me. I just can't quite put my finger on it. What?
Hold it!
What are we missing? She's not the culprit.
Hold it! Well, no.
Wait, why is he reacting to this one now? That's really annoying that you have to press it twice to get the reaction.
I ain't too happy in small dark places. Feels too much like being thrown in the clink.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Mr. McGilded? Oh, I do apologize. Was there something the matter, Counsel? I'm just wondering if Miss Lestrade's last comment made something occur to you, perhaps. You seem to be thinking something to yourself. Oh, no. 'Twas nothing important. I was feeling bad for the poor lass is all. I remember feeling desperate myself as a young lad. Shut up in the dark. 'Twas terrifying, so it was. I see. Yes, I'm sure we can all sympathize. I'm so scared of the dark now. I don't know about yourself, but I find that the darkness seems to make everything you hear seems much louder as well.
Yeah. I suppose it does, maybe.
Miss Lestrade, did you hear something that night? Anything? Unusual noise, perhaps?
Nah, not really. All I could hear was the Irishman snoring.
Be jabbers! There's no need to tell the whole world of me foibles, you little scamp.
What a pity. If only Miss Lestrade had heard something, it might have given us a vital new clue.
Yes. What should we make of that last statement of hers? It's profoundly important. My lord, I believe the statement just made by the witness is profoundly important. Profoundly important? But all she said was that she heard nothing. Yes, which is the profoundly important point. I'm almost sure of it. I'm almost sure that I don't understand the inner workings of your Eastern Mind Council. Nevertheless, Miss Gina Lestrade, you will supplement your formal testimony by repeating that last statement, please.
What? Supplement? What are you talking about? What are you on about? Don't give me all your fancy talk. I know what you're trying to do. Well, it won't work on me.
That's right. Insult the judge. Always a good move.
I was straining the ears to work out what was going on, but all I could hear was snoring.
Hold it!
So you were straining to hear what was happening in the entire time? Since the moment you hit yourself?
Not exactly, no.
Sorry?
Well, there was no one in the cabin to start with. I could just push the cushion up and have a butcher's to see what was what. But then, when I saw the swell getting on, I got me head down so he didn't notice me.
And Mr. McGilda sat on the seat under which you were hiding, correct?
Yeah. Would you Adam and Eve it, eh? What a mug! So then, all I could do was listen. I was waiting to jump out as soon as I heard him. Heard him leave, you see? But would he? Not likely. Even though we stopped here and there, I never heard the door open. So I just had to stay put and listen to So
God, so many freaking shorthands. Well, try and do this high-pitched voice.
So I had to just stay and listen to him driving his pigs to market, snowing like an old dog he was.
Are there any conclusions we can draw from that? I wonder. It doesn't add up. Because Mr. Mason would have to open the door. Miss Lestrade, what you have just told the court is clearly at odds with the facts. Huh? At odds? Are you sure, man? Absolutely. It seems my learned Nipponese friend is not as dull-witted as I feared. So Van Zeeks realized it too. Counsel! I must insist that you bolster your claims with evidence, or some complicit party's name at the very least. Yes, my lord. I expect you to demonstrate this alleged contradiction to the court. According to Miss Lestrade, while she was hiding in the omnibus that night, she heard nothing but the sound of Mr. McGilded snoring. But think, Renowski, think. There's something else she should have heard. Show a person. Very well, my lord. Allow me to elaborate. On a particular sound that Miss Lestrade could not have failed to hear on the night in question. The sound very clearly explained by the presence of the following person. Thrice fried Mason.
Take that!
Thrice fried Mason?
Yes, my lord. The sound that Miss Lestrade cannot have failed to hear is that of the victim, Mr. Mason, boarding the omnibus.
Order! Order! Explain your reasoning, counsel.
Miss Lestrade, allow me to confirm something. You claimed earlier that you were the first person on board the omnibus. Is that correct?
Yeah, of course I was. I was on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I?
Wait, what was that?
Yeah, I got on while the driver was in the pub, didn't I?
And the next person to board the omnibus was Mr. McGilded?
And
That it was, but the soul was in the cabin when I climbed aboard. At least, not in plain sight. So you were, to all intents and purposes, alone in the enclosed cabin of the omnibus at that time. Did I not just say as much? I wasn't traveling with anyone else, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, I saw him get on, remember? Through the crack under the seat cushion. He was on his own for sure.
And from what we've heard, the carriage made a number of stops after that on its onward journey. During which time, did you not hear the door opening or closing at all?
Nah, I never heard it. That's exactly what I was listening for, wasn't it? Waiting for the swell to leave.
In which case, when and how did the victim end up in the carriage?
Ah!
We know that the victim collapsed inside the enclosed cabin of the omnibus. Therefore, Miss Lestraw's statement about what she did or did not hear is at odds with the facts.
Huh.
Yes, this petty thief's statement was clearly flawed.
Lord Van Zeeks!
Yes, he knew. He knew all too well that there was an inconsistency in Miss Lestraw's statement. It would seem words of thanks are in order for my learned friend. What are you talking about? You have demonstrated matters impeccably. This witness and her colorful statements are entirely unreliable. Her words are convenient untruths, nothing more.
He's turned right. How could the victim possibly not have boarded the omnibus?
That makes no sense whatsoever.
And this girl is a pickpocket. Let's not forget that.
She didn't even say anything.
I didn't want to judge the dear little mite just because she has some rather naughty ways. But I must say, I can't abide liars.
And neither can I.
Mr. Foreman,
I didn't want to judge the girl just because she has some less than salubrious ways. But I must say, I cannot abide liars.
Mr. Naruto, that's 5 jury members leaning towards guilty.
well, your consideration for others is refreshing, my Nipponese friend. To the considerable troubles you have spared me. Yes, very refreshing.
Ah! What are you playing at? Have ye forgotten who you're looking for, ye useless Eastern? Amadan!
This carnage is perfect.
Jury number 2 is the only one left.
Mr. Naruto, the way this is going...
I know. If we can't find some new way to convince everyone of Mr. McGill's innocence, the judge will rule, and we'll have lost.
I very much wanted to believe the words of one of London's most respected gentlemen, but those of us in service know we must accept hard truth.
Hold it!
Yes, the witness's last statement seems to have revealed a critical inconsistency in her story. However, if we consider the possibility that her statement is in fact the truth, it may shed an entirely new light on this whole case. What are you saying?
Counsel! Sorry, sir? Whatever do you mean?
Counsel, I will not tolerate you attempting to prorogue my education. Explain yourself at once.
When the accused boarded the omnibus on the night in question, the victim was nowhere to be seen. Subsequently, the carriage door was not heard opening a single time, as testified by the witness in the stand.
And yet the victim's body was found inside the carriage.
If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There's only one way to explain how the victim came to be inside the carriage. He was put there after he died. Obviously, the victim must have been placed in the carriage after he was killed.
Objection!
Tell me, my learned friend, what was the function of the obviously in your last statement? Huh?
Well said, Lord Van Deeks. The obviously is troubling me also.
No. That's really not the point. The point is that the victim must have been moved into the carriage afterwards. Then answer me this. How could a cadaver have been placed inside a moving carriage? Well, obviously,
I shall have to penalize the defense heavily for this irrelevant rambling.
Oh, really? I must learn to ramble more relevantly. The penalty is evidently not heavy enough, judging from the Nipponese's eyes. So, I ask you again. If this petty thief's words are to be believed, how do you explain the victim's miraculous appearance inside the cabin of the omnibus? There is technically another entrance because that skylight looks like it latches open. If the door wasn't open even once, the only explanation is that the victim entered the enclosed cabin some other way.
Objection!
I wondered what new fantasy you would come up with in your blind panic. But behold, the omnibus is here for all to see. Only one side of the enclosed cabin is furnished with a door. The other has only windows. Fixed windows, which cannot possibly open. In short, there is no entrance to the cabin other than the door.
Objection!
But there could be. There's one possibility you haven't considered. Oh, really? Yes. One other way inside that isn't the door. Another opening, the use of which allowed the victim to appear inside the enclosed cabin.
All right, counsel. The defense will identify the location for the court. Here's the omnibus on which the incident occurred. Where on earth is this entrance by which you propose the victim enter the cabin?
Take that!
The answer is obvious. It can only have been the skylight.
I say, the skylight.
Objection!
Your ludicrous proposal almost has left me lost for words. However,
Objection!
the skylight may well be large enough for someone to pass through.
Objection!
So you claim. But do you have a shred of evidence to support your addled brain theory? Both Mr. McGilded and Miss Lestrade said the same in their testimony. They each claimed to have heard a loud thud, such as the noise made by someone falling to the floor.
Yes, which has already been explained. The sound of the victim falling from his seat, having been assaulted with the dagger.
Yes, it has. But would a man slipping from the seat onto the floor really have made such a loud noise as the witnesses described? A noise loud enough to cause Miss Lestrade to let out an involuntary cry? In fact,
Good gracious!
perhaps in fact, that was the moment that the victim made his entrance into the cabin. No, let me rephrase that. The victim didn't enter the cabin as such. He fell into it.
Objection!
You're now suggesting that the victim fell from the skylight into the cabin. That's simply impossible. How can you be so sure? Because if the victim had fallen inside through the skylight, as you say, the passengers on the roof deck would have seen it happen. And yet, not one person made mention of such events in their testimony. Well, yes, that's true, but... Might a humble fella make a wee comment here? Mr. McGilded? To be sure now, the two fellows who were sat on the roof that testified afore said nothing of the victim falling through the skylight. But it seems to me, my lord, that 'tis not so much a case of them not saying, but... Aye. 'Tis a case of them being unable to say. What? I think perhaps the two fellas do be having something of a compelling reason not to mention what happened. Would you not agree, fine ladies and gentlemen of the jury?
Oh my! My goodness, surely not.
Those two chaps on the roof? You mean the ones who stuck the knife in the man were...
Arg!
Just what exactly are you insinuating here, you blitherer?
You rotter, he said! You rotter! What are you insinuating?
This is a flaming outrage. I've a good mind to give you a blinker in a minute.
He'll give you a shine in a minute, he said, and so would I.
Mr. Fairplay.
You're effectively accusing me, a city gentleman and a well-respected banker.
And me, a very angry hatter.
Suggesting that someone like me could have stabbed that man in the guts. It's a disgrace. It's scandalous. It's I protest. I protest in the strongest possible terms.
That's right, I protest too. About you rotten scoundrel.
Order! 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 This is not the time, witnesses. I will not permit this wanton invasion of the stand. Return to the anteroom at once. But this is beyond reason, my lord. It's outrageous.
It's very hurtful, you know.
My lord, if I may comment.
Go ahead, Lord Van Deeks.
It was the defense that incited this outburst from the witnesses. My learned friend has seen fit to abandon all protocol and accuse the witnesses without proof. Accused? I never intended to. It seems, young Nipponese, that your command of the English tongue is wanting. You propose to this court that the victim fell through the skylight from the roof deck of the omnibus. That hypothesis cannot possibly stand without the rooftop passengers being aware of the events. You have branded these gentlemen liars, You have intimated their criminal guilt. In our British courts of law, that is what is termed a baseless accusation. I know it's rash to put this idea forward without any actual evidence, but you can't just dismiss it without a second thought.
What are we waiting for? What are we wasting time for? Get them to testify! Oh, I thought something was fishy about that hat from the moment I laid eyes on the fellow. We have to see this matter through now, one way or another.
If there's filth and rubbish in our midst, we must dispose of it at once.
Wow, his voice.
What's happening, Mr. Naruhodo?
The spectators in the public gallery are. They're in a complete frenzy.
Mr. Fairplay, Mr. First. My lord? You will take the stand again and make another formal testimony in reference to the indictment brought by the defense. Yes, my lord.
I didn't come here for this.
There's no time to think this through. All I can do is keep pushing forward. Refuting the accusation.
We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear on that.
If anything had happened where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
If you're so sure the victim fell through the skylight, where is your proof? I must say that on listening to his testimony, it is somewhat hard to imagine how either witness could have performed any malevolent act on this open rooftop deck without the other noticing forthwith. That's right. You see?
What is it, I tell you?
Although logically, of course, the argument falls down if the two of you were in conclusion with another.
What?
Eh?
According to investigation by Scotland Yard, the two witnesses share no common dealings.
Well, I don't trust coppers any more than I trust the stinking rich.
Something doesn't feel right here. The trial is going in our favor, really. So why do I feel so uneasy?
Counsel for the defense, over to you. Your cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Refuting the accusation. We were the only two people up on that roof deck, dead or alive. I can swear to that.
Hold it!
So at no point in time did the victim, Mr. Mason, climb up to join you on the roof deck?
Absolutely not, Dickin.
No question about it, he said. Not at all. Oh, but yes, of course. I remember seeing them both. I saw the victim inside the enclosed cabin talking with this man here.
Is this true, Mr. McGilden?
Nearly me, my lord. At the risk of repeating myself, I boarded the omnibus alone and nodded off inside almost immediately.
That's an outright lie. Without doubt, you were engaged in.
Let me stop you there, fella, and ask, do you have any evidence at all? At all?
It's all about evidence in the courts these days, so it is. You do well to remember that.
Ah! I saw you! With my own eyes!
This is going so well.
If anything happened while we were sitting, where we were sitting, don't you think one or the other of us would have noticed?
Hold it!
Well, it was on the final run of the omnibus, at past 10 o'clock in the evening. It would certainly have been quite dark, perhaps too dark to see clearly.
Is this some kind of a lark?
Is this some kind of joke? He said. Is that what this is?
Or perhaps one or the other of you fell asleep briefly?
Are you fair dumb kid didn't come, sir?
Are you serious, sir? That's what he said. It's impossible, I tell you.
I'd give you the keys to the vault if you could fall asleep in that bitter cold. And if you did manage it, your eyelids would freeze shut and you'd never open them again.
That's extreme.
It was extreme, I tell you. And we had to put up with it because this man had locked the door. Any true gent would have unlocked it and let me in when I knocked.
I'm dreadfully sorry about that, young fella. But you see, I was away with the fairies, and I didn't hear you at all.
That's a lie! I saw you through the glass. You were talking to someone.
Now, 'twas a cold night, so 'twas. People do be seeing things that aren't real in the cold. 'Tis hardly surprising.
Seeing things!
I believe we have reached an impasse here on this particular point.
Ahead! You!
Don't take it personally now, lad. If I'm a suspect in this case, then 'tis only fair that you and the other fiend are too. Open and free competition is what a capitalist society is all about.
This isn't a competition I should like to be involved in, really.
In any case, neither of us know the first thing about the victim. We had no reason to kill the man.
Hold it!
So, you had never met Mr. Thrice-Fried Mason before?
Oh, Lumen, no! Not once, never!
He'd never met the man before, he said. Never!
And you, Mr. First, had no prior dealings with the victim either?
That's right, sir. Hatters don't have much to do with brickmakers, to be perfectly honest, sir.
No, I imagine not. You see, how many different ways I can put this? Neither of us have the remotest connection to the gentlemen who were inside the cabin.
Excuse me.
Mr. McGilded? Yes, counsel. What can I be doing for you? You for? Did the witness's last statement give you pause for thought somehow? Not the remotest connection. Is that right now? I wonder.
What are you insinuating now?
Ah, Mr. Fairplay. That's been too long, so it has.
Eh?
If I'm not very much mistaken, I believe 'tis fast approaching, is it not? Your repayment date.
I beg your pardon?
You borrowed 20 guineas from me, sir.
At that unconscionable rate of interest! You tricked me! It's extortion!
Well now, is that a touch of begrudgery, is it? The sort of begrudgery that might motivate a fella to pass his crimes off on another?
Arrgh!
And young Mr. First?
Me, sir? Oh, what do you want with me, sir?
You do be making hats for a living, do you not? That there top hat sliding about on your head. Is that one of your own creations, is it?
Oh, well, I'm still just an apprentice, you understand. I'm learning to find the perfect fit for whatever fine gent walks through the door. The perfect fit, is it? Well, it's a very distinctive design, so it is. Many customers like it, I tell you. They like a distinctive touch. Customers such as Thrice Fried Mason. Huh. There was a photographic print of the victim submitted as evidence before, my lord.
This you mean?
I just realized this isn't color. Did they have color prints back then?
I can't help thinking that the poor fella's hat looks distinctly familiar. Wouldn't you say? Oh! That's one of my hats. So that it is. So it would seem the brickmaker was a customer of yours. That sort of customer, I'd wager. You could have had a wee quarrel. Worth over the distinctiveness over the goods. Oh, no, sir. Absolutely not, sir. Well, there's really nothing more to add. It wouldn't be right to say that the two fellas here haven't the remotest connection to the victim, you see. I rest my case.
You little weasel! Arrgh!
He's better at this than I am.
Gosh, Mr. McGilda has certainly been thorough in his research, hasn't he? Please, don't let me interrupt. Don't let me little interruption hold up the proceedings.
I guess that was a story point.
The skylight was shut the entire time, I tell you. We couldn't possibly have opened it.
Hold it!
Are you quite certain about that? That the skylight was shut the entire time?
I'm going to lose my block with you in a minute.
He's going to lose his rag with you in a minute. That's what he said.
Take a look for yourself. Go on. You see, it's shut fast now, just like it was on that night.
So it is, of course. A fellow the size of Mr. Mason could likely break right through it. Still, all in all.
What?
Just look at the size of the thing. You understand.
Now you hold on there a minute, sir. The size of that thing means nothing. Non-zone. Let's consider the bigger picture here, shall we?
Let's stop by our arcane, shall we? I was riding the omnibus on another occasion when, well, I broke wind loudly. I shocked myself with it, as it happens.
This is an unexpected confession, Mr. First.
Oh, well, I mean, I just mean to say, well, the point is, I tried to open the skylight, you see. But, just my luck, I couldn't make it budge. The stench was terrible. Everyone was looking daggers at me, sir. I went as red as rogue, I did.
Are you expecting me to sentence you?
Oh, no, sir. The point is, the skylight can't be opened. I tried and tried when I was inside the cabinet of shame. Inside that cabinet of shame.
The skylight doesn't open, you say?
So, that proves it. We could have kicked the victim down into the cabin below. I tell you, neither of us could.
Nobody mentioned anything about kicking anyone.
Like I said, these details are little nuggets at best. It's the mother lode we should be looking for.
Okay, so there was a reaction.
Hold it!
Wait, that ain't...
Excuse me!
Do you have something to say about that, Miss Lestrade? Miss Lestrade.
It opens.
Hmm?
The skylight. Is what we were talking about, right?
Seems like a waste.
All of them skylights open. They're easy.
More easily than you can load that weapon?
That's a lie, I tell you. Otherwise, when I broke wind, I... You can't do it from inside, you mug. Oh. Look, a few weeks ago, I was up on the roof deck of one of them drags. And I had a great haul. I mean, I had pulses coming out of me ears.
Miss Lestrade, this is not the form to be eulogizing on the subject of your criminal activities.
Well, anyway, I had a bit of a scare. When I lifted the last bloke's purse, he got wise to me. All four of them surrounded me, so I couldn't hop off the bus and leg it. So what I did was I used the skylight, opened the catch, and jumped right through.
What?
Yeah, the catch from the skylight is on the top side. That's why you can open them from the cabin.
The skylight opens from the roof deck?
Bailiff, climb up onto the roof of the omnibus at once and verify this witness's claim.
Oh, I thought it would be like a hatch.
Oh, my hat! See?
Order! 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 So, it appears that this street girl's statement is quite true.
I don't believe it. The skylight opens. And from the roof deck.
Mr. Naruhodo! This could be the clue we've been looking for.
Well, counsel for the defense, please continue with your cross-examination.
Yes, my lord. So, the skylight opens. Perhaps I should investigate for myself. So the skylight was fastened shut before.
But now the catch has been undone. You should be able to open it.
You can certainly see inside the carriage through this opening. That's for sure.
Yes, and there's a lamp in the enclosed cabin. I'm sure the witnesses would have been able to see quite clearly.
It's not good for us.
Oh, the blood!
Oh my god. How do I finagle this? Okay, we're just ignoring this?
Hold it!
Proof.
That's what I'm meant to hear it.
We came here to say what we saw. I tell you, not for this.
But you call us both chickers. Brand us as criminals.
You call us liars. That's what he means, and accuse us of doing it.
As it stands at the moment, there's no hard evidence that incriminates yourselves now, is there? I believe we are in much the same position as one another here. Arrgh! If I don't crack this case soon, he'll crack his teeth.
I wonder if these two men really were involved in some way.
I couldn't say. I mean, I don't really know anything about them, do I? Although, by the same token, I don't really know anything about Mr. McGilty either. So, it's so hard to know what to believe here.
I think we should try to remember that it's evidence alone that we can truly determine the outcome of a trial.
Evidence.
No one can argue against decisive evidence, including members of the jury.
So you're saying that what we need now is to find a conclusive piece of evidence?
Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, precisely.
Oh god. There, knock my phone off. Oh god damn it!
Objection!
What? Oh god. How? May I have to see from inside?
Yes, it does open very wide, doesn't it? Wide enough to kick someone you like through. To kick someone like you through, certainly, Mr. Naruhodo.
Why someone like me?
Ah!
What is it?
Look, just here. Look at this.
That's, without question, it's blood. Or would there be a blood stain there?
Surely, it can't be unrelated to the case, can it?
Okay, there we go. Details of the omnibus have been updated in courtroom. Scene of the crime. There's a blood stain visible on the frame of the skylight when opened.
Objection!
On the night in question, the victim was fatally stabbed in the stomach. And immediately afterwards, the victim's body was pushed through the skylight into the cabin below. Those are the facts, and the irrefutable proof remains clearly visible in the omnibus that stands before us today in this very courtroom.
What? That's a humbug! You can't possibly have any evidence!
No, you can't. I mean, we didn't do it, I tell you. It's impossible.
Irrefutable proof, here, in this courtroom. At this time of day, and this season, time of year.
Counsel!
Yes, my lord.
I believe everyone would appreciate a little clarification here, Where exactly within the omnibus is this evidence to which you allude? You will point out what it is that proves the victim fell from the roof deck through the skylight.
Obviously, the skylight itself.
Got it!
By Jupiter! Is that blood? Arrgh!
This bloodstain proves two things. Firstly, when the incident occurred, the skylight of the omnibus was open.
What?
And secondly, the victim was already bleeding when he fell through the opening.
Oh my.
So it follows that Mr. McGilded, who was inside the enclosed cabin himself at the time, cannot possibly be guilty of this crime. No, no!
Order! Order! Order!
Hold it!
But the blood could have sprayed up there when the fellow was stabbed inside the cabin.
And only found its way to that one particular spot on the skylight. Sure, and that would be very convenient.
Ah,
And let's keep in mind that the skylight catch can only be unfastened from the roof deck. And I myself wouldn't have been able to open it now, would I?
There's no way to know for certain, is there? If the gent really fell through the skylight, I mean.
Why don't ye have a good look at the floor of the cabin between the two seats, Mr. Faust? First. It's all too plain to if you see. There's the aftermath. That shows the poor fella dropped from a fair height right there. So it is.
what? No!
But it can't be. It's all lies!
Hold it!
My fellow jury members, I think we can all agree that this is clear proof of the defendant's innocence. Can't we?
I believe we can, sir. It's clear to me now where the filthy rubbish can be found in this courtroom.
So, they thought they could pull the wool over my eyes, did they?
I won't tolerate any of the guild's carriages being sullied with blood. I won't tolerate it.
Oh, I always knew that nice gentleman who gave us that delightful park couldn't have done such a thing.
On three then, everyone. 1, 2, 3.
Objection!
A chilling performance, Mr. McGilded. Oh, and what would ye be referring to there now, Lord Van Zeeks? A bloodstain on the flame of the skylight. Such evidence is null and void. What? Why? For one extremely simple reason. That smear of blood never existed. Knew it. It was planned after the smokescreen.
Objection!
What are you talking about? It's there for all to see, and it's clearly blood.
Objection!
I personally attended Scotland Yard's investigation of the omnibus. The officers involved went over the carriage with a fine-tooth comb. So I can state with absolute surety, no such smear of blood existed in the carriage. At least, not until this trial began. But,
Are you suggesting, Lord Van Zeeks, that this stain of blood was...
fabricated, my lord? Yes. And while this court has been in session. What? What a palaver. I must say, I didn't expect such crude reasoning from a prosecutor of your standing, Lord Van Zeeks. But, Magnus McGilded, a fellow known all over the capital for his fine contributions to public life. I don't take kindly to slander, and I'll fight it to the bitter end. Even if it's rolling off the tongue of the Reaper of the Belly. Mr. McGilded, I realize that this is your first appearance in court as the accused. However, I am well aware of your involvement behind the scenes in a great many affairs of dubious nature. You're very adept when it comes to avoiding getting your own hands dirty. And each time it happens that a case you're involved in is investigated, you adapt the facts. Adapt the facts? What does that even mean? When you wield a fortune the size of Mr. McGilda's, however ill-gotten it may be, nothing is impossible. Tampering with evidence, manipulating the scene of a crime, bribing witnesses. I toast your ability to concoct the most convenient of stories, sir. Tut tut, Lord Van Deeks. This would not do to hear. With it now, counsel. Huh? Oh, no. I think it's fair to say, this does all sound like a rather far-fetched excuse by a desperate man. The blood in the skylight didn't exist, you say? But if yous all cast your minds back, is it not true that the omnibus there has been in the courtroom the entire time? How could anyone possibly have put a smear of blood in it without the world and his wife seeing? Isn't that right now, counsel? And I think we'll end it there for today. I think tomorrow will be the exciting conclusion of Case 3 and probably start to Case 4. Man, these go for a long time. But man, third case then, already manipulating evidence, untrustworthy clients, and questionable prosecution practices. Classic Phoenix, right? Until then, thank you everyone who joined me today, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye!